Hello, good day. Today we'll be discussing the remaining modes of extinguishing obligations. I'm so sorry for the uploaded videos. I think this is already my fourth recording. Nagkakaroon ng problema when it comes to saving at the same time with the app that I'm using. But anyhow, we'll have a continuation na lang. To start with, let's have for condonation. Briefly, I would not be reading anymore the provisions since it is already presented to you. But anyways, under 1270, one mode of extinguishing obligation is through condonation or remission of debt. So what is condonation? Basically, this is an implied forgiveness, and remission is the release of the debt. So this is the treatment is um, donation kasi siya po ay gratuitous. So kapag po ay donation ng treatment, it requires the acceptance ni obligor, and it may be made expressly or impliedly. O since ang treatment ay donation under this provision, kapag nagkakaroon po ng condonation or remission, dapat mag-comply din siya to the rules which govern inofficious donation. So it means to say that dapat po yung nagiging donation ay hindi po excessive, na wala na naman pong maiiwang reservation dun po sa donor na he could live by. So hindi yun po pwede, wala nang sufficient for his means to live by in each day. Hindi yun po pwede, yun ay inofficious or excessive. And then at the same time, meron din po kasi tayong tinatawag na legitimes. Ito yung mga properties and assets natin na kung saan ito ay naka-reserve para sa ating mga legitimate heirs. Na kapag po yung condonation naman or yung remission ay nakaka-impair or nakakabawas dun sa dapat sanang matanggap ng mga legitimate heirs then, or nawawala na yung nai-impair yung dapat sanang matanggap ng mga legitimate heirs, ay hindi po yun po pwede. Yun ay po pwedeng ma-revoke yung nagiging condonation or remission. So in a form of donation na kasi yun, so po pwede yung ma-revoke. So kapag there would be an express na express condonation, dapat daw mag-comply siya with the forms of donation. So, kapag naman implied, well, the conduct or actions of the parties is sufficient, kapag po yun ay implied ang condonation. So, now let's go. What are the requisites of condonation or remission? It must be gratuitous. So this is considered as our, since nagiging donation na nga, the gratuity or the act of liberality ay yun po yung ating cause and consideration. So it must be yung condonation, it should be accepted by the obligor kasi nga po yung ating treatment ay nagiging donation na, diba? And then second thing is that it must not be inofficious. It means to say, I have discussed this one, that it should not be excessive or illegal, and it must be made expressly and must comply with the forms of donation. So yun po. Under 1272, it says that whenever the private document in which a debt appears is found in the possession of the debtor, it shall be presumed that the creditor delivered it voluntarily unless the contrary is proved. So, ibig sabihin nito, in our words or in our dialect, that if we could found the evidence of the debts, such as a private document like a promissory note, ay nasa possession na daw ng debtor, ang presumption daw, ang ating daw conclusion dapat doon ay yun ay voluntaryong i-deliver ni creditor. Well, it is rebuttable or disputable. Pwede pa din naman yung i-prove otherwise through an evidence showing that it is not voluntarily delivered, and at the same time hindi rin ibig sabihin na kapag po ang isang evidence or ang isang document, private document evidencing debts ay in the possession of the debtor, you should not readily conclude as well na ang debt ay condoned or na-ireremit or fino-forgo. Still, it is disputable na kapag po, or rebuttable, na kapag naman ay may sufficient or sufficient evidence to prove otherwise, then it is valid. Ngayon naman, what if daw, under 1273, the renunciation of the principal debt shall extinguish the accessory obligations, but the waiver of the latter shall leave the former in force. In this provision, it said that in case of remission in the principal debt, the accessory shall follow, but in case the latter is only the one being remitted, the principal shall still in force. So, it means to say that kapag po may principal debt tapos may accessory yung obligation na yon, kapag po ang principal po ang siyang nire-renounce or nire-remit, then yung accessory will follow with the under the principle na that the accessory shall follow the principal. So, kapag may principal obligation na 10,000, tapos ay ito'y ginagarantiyahan ng isang tao, kapag po ang obligation ay wini-waive na or fino-forgo ni creditor, it means to say yung guarantor ay released na din from the obligation. Pero it's a different thing kapag po ang waiver is between it would be different kapag po ang wini-waive ay ang accessory. Hindi necessarily magpo-follow ang principal. So, by my example, let's say for example, ang waiver ay between guarantors to guarantors, principal, creditor, and the guarantor. Di kung sasabihin ni creditor na nirelease na niya si guarantor, hindi po ibig sabihin na yung principal obligation ay mawawala na din. Dapat ang nire-release ay yung principal debt para mag-a-apply po yung ating principal na the accessory follows the principal. So, yun di nawawala lang po, dun sa ating example, nawawala lang po yung accessory ng obligation, but the principal obligation still subsists. Continue. Let's have 1274, and under 1274, it is presumed that the accessory obligation of pledge has been remitted when the thing pledged after its delivery to the creditor is found in the possession of the debtor or of a third person who owns the thing. So basically dito, under 1274, in a contract of pledge kasi, it's an accessory obligation to the loan. Ang principal obligation talaga ay loan. Tapos, meron lang nakasanglang bagay bilang collateral doon sa loan. Or naiiwang bagay. Ito yung example natin ay yung sinasabi nating sangla sa isang pawn shop. So, basically, it's a contract of loan na may pledge na personal property na alahas. Kapag po yung ating pong, if it happens in individuals or persons, kapag po yung thing pledge ay nasa possession na ni debtor or naibalik na sa possession ni debtor, it means to say daw na yung accessory obligation lang na pledge ang siyang nare-remit or nako-condone. Hindi ibig sabihin yung kapag nagiging ganyan ang sitwasyon ay yung principal obligation ay nako-condone na din. Only the accessory obligation of pledge that has been remitted when the thing pledge is in the possession of the debtor na at wala na kay creditor. What if pala, going back to evidence of indebtedness, dito po, sinasabi dito kasi na kapag yung private document daw ay nasa possession na or voluntarily delivered na to the possession ni debtor, ang presumption ay ang creditor ay voluntarily delivered niya yung instrument, diba? It is rebuttable unless the contrary is proved. What if pala and then there could be an implied na renunciation or condonation of debt? What if the evidence of indebtedness is in the hands of one of the joint debtor? Well, in those cases, titingnan natin, only the share of that joint debtor is condoned. Kapag solidary naman, kapag ang evidence of debt ay nasa alinman or kahit kanino man na solidary debtor, ang entire debt po ang nako-condone or whole debt ang nako-condone. So, Base yan dun sa ating mga natutunan, dun sa ating pong previous na mga discussions na kapag joint, we have to divide as many shares as there are creditors and debtors. And then, for solidary, yun yung tipong entire obligation as they become due and demandable could be demanded or from the debtor, or the creditor has the right to demand as well. So let's now go for confusion or merger of rights. Ano yung confusion or merger of rights? So under 1275, ang confusion or merger of rights is basically the obligation is extinguished. It's because daw nasa iisang personality yung qualities ni debtor at ni creditor. Nasa iisang tao na yung si creditor at debtor. Para ang nangyayari lang ay ako'y may utang sa'yo, tapos nag-issue ako ng promissory note, tapos yung promissory note ko na iyon ay ipinasa mo sa taong may utang din sa'yo. Yung taong may utang sa'yo na pinasahan mo ng promissory note ko, it happens na may utang din sa akin, at ang kanyang ipinambayad ay yung promissory note ko din, na in-endorse ko sa iyo. So, nasa iisang tao na ngayon ang, in my person na. So, I don't have to pay for myself, right? So, that is why, ito yung nangyayari po, yung meeting in one person. So, ang qualities ni creditor at debtor, with respect to the same obligation. So, it means to say that, as a requirement to a valid merger or confusion, it must take place between the principal debtor and the creditor, and then same obligation, and then it must be complete. So, importante yon. So, hope so it's malinaw. Anyways, we have here an example with regard to that. So, in a confusion or merger, to be valid, it must be so here. So here, when it comes to confusion or merger, yun na nga, the obligation is extinguished from the time the characters of the creditor and the debtors are merged in the same person. So what is then the requisites of a valid merger or confusion? So it must take place nga between the principal debtor and the creditor. It must be complete. And then under the provisions of 1276, what would be the effect if there would be a merger and merger of the principal debtor and the creditor, and what if the merger happens between the guarantors? Should the merger between principal debtor or principal creditor benefit the guarantors? Well, of course, it's based on the principle again of the accessory follows the principal, and ayun, follows the principal. But if it's the merger is happening between the guarantors, basically it would not, the principal would not apply. The principal obligation would subsist. It's just that yung guarantors nga lang daw ang released from the obligation, or the yun yung mawawalan na lang ng obligation under guarantee, na hindi na sila kailangang mag-back up dun sa atin pong obligation. So, what are then the requisites of a valid merger or valid merger or confusion? It must take place between the principal debtor and principal creditor only. It must be clear and definite, and then the obligation involved must be the same and identical. Here, we could readily see na there should be only one obligation, and it is revocable. So if the reason for the confusion ceases, the obligation is revived. Basically, yun yung idea doon. And then let's have for compensation. Ano ba yung compensation or set off? Ang compensation ay shall takes place when two persons in their own rights are creditors and debtors of each other. Paano po magkakaroon ng compensation? So basically, in compensation is the extinguishment to the concurrent amount of the debts to two persons who are in their own rights are debtors and creditors of each other. Here, when it comes to compensation, tatandaan po natin, ang requirement dito ay dapat nagkakaroon mutually po si creditors at debtors in their own right and as principals, may utang sila sa isa't isa. So, it could be of same amount for total compensation. It could be partial din kung may mga pagkakataon na we have partial na obligations. So, here, as a requirement, both parties must be mutually creditors and debtors with each other in their own right and as principals. And then, both debts must consist in sum of money or if consumable of the same kind or quality, tapos both debts are due, and then both debts are liquidated or demandable. This is according to 1279, liquidated or demandable or determinable, or computable, Number 5 is that neither debt must be retained or in controversy commenced by third person or communicated with the debtor. So, ibig sabihin, neither debt is garnished or attached. Hindi po dapat may claim ang third parties over the debt in order that we could consider that there would be a valid na compensation, or we could say that there is a valid na merger. We are being provided here with examples who have So, basically, malinaw na po iyan, kung anong difference ng compensation na payment at payment, malinaw yun. So, when it comes to compensation, nagkaroon tayo ng set of, because parehong may utang si creditor, or in their own right, they are debtors and creditors to each other, Kaya nagkakaroon po tayo ng compensation or set off. Sa ating words, kumbaga, quits, nang dahil sa utang. And then, when it comes to compensation, it could be as to their effects. May mga pagkakataon na total or partial kapag same amount, total, partial kapag hindi naman po pareho ang amount. And then, as to the origin, meron tayong legal compensation dahil because of operations of law. And then, we have facultative na compensation when one party can claim compensation and the other cannot, and then conventional by agreement of the parties. Yun po yung atin pong examples po ng compensation. And then let's now go for 1280. Notwithstanding the provisions of the preceding article, the guarantor may set up compensation as regards what the creditor may owe the principal debtor. So, here, ang guarantor daw ay po pwedeng mag-set up ng compensation with respect to the principal debt. So, ano po mangyayari dito? So, in those cases,